Hi everyone, look at this beast that's found its way onto the workbench. We have got an MG42, albeit a not very healthy one at the minute because it's not quite working properly. But what a beast. It is huge. It pretty much takes up the whole area. But we're going to get it sorted. I'm pretty confident with that. So I've got a 7.4 volt battery in a minute. And just to give you an idea of what's kind of wrong in here, so even though, now I know the mag's not connected, and even though it sounds like it's working fine, if we have a little look in here, you can see there's nothing going back, there's no nozzle moving. So although the gearbox sounds like it's turning and doing something, there's nothing there to load the BB. So I think there's probably something up with the tappet plate or something like that that's causing it to be a problem. So without any more messing around, let's get this open and see what needs to be done to fix it. Upon opening this, it suddenly becomes obvious what the issue is. So this little ring here, that is one end of the tappet plate spring. Now the tappet plate spring is there to basically pull the tappet plate, this bit here, so it goes around this hook and it pulls that back to the front of the rifle when it's ready to fire, which is why that little nozzle, we couldn't see that pushing BBs into the barrel, which would cause it to stop shooting. So obviously that's one end of it. I would assume the rest of it is still stuck in the front of this. But we're going to open it all up. We're going to give it a nice clean. We might put some extra parts in for durability for the future, but I'm sure we will make this beast fire again. There it is. As expected, it's missing the all-important bit that grabs that. So that was our reason for failure on this one, but I do think we need to clean that up, don't we? Because that is horrid. So we've all cleaned up then. We've got the cylinder all clean, nozzle all cleaned. They're fine. We can reuse them. We're not looking at doing any super upgrades on this one. We're just looking to service it and make it work. We've got a new tappet plate spring, so that will be on here to replace the bit that was broken. So that will get that functioning again. But I do think one bit we are going to replace. So that is the original piston. Now it has plastic teeth. Now there is only a very minimal bit of wear on there, but I think just for the process of we've got it open, let's make it a bit more durable. We're going to put a piston and piston head in. Now the piston here has got metal teeth. That's just going to make it a little bit more durable for longer, which is great. And it does mean that if at any point we decide to put a stronger spring in than that, because it is a quick change spring, so it's quite easy to get to. If we want to upgrade that, we've already got a piston in there that is quite happily going to handle that. So we're going to get a bit of fresh grease on this and do that. But just before we do the next bit, we've had a little bit of shimming, and now this ready.
Nice.
That, I think, is perfect. So let's get some grease in it, get it back together, and then we can see if this thing fires again. So here we go. Okay, so now it's all back together. However, it wasn't without its complications. Everything was all going smoothly until I started to reassemble it. Now, when I took it apart, this bit that I'm about to talk about, I hadn't initially noticed. And when I did notice it, I didn't record it because at first I thought it was going to be totally game over for the whole thing. Now, we won't be able to see it really now, but when I took it apart, I hadn't noticed that the actual frame of this was all bent. So it was all banana shaped. So when we're trying to put it all back together, none of this would align up nicely. Now, I think when I took it apart, obviously I saw that it was out of a line, but I just assumed it wasn't put together properly. But it wasn't that, it was bent. But I think that's gone back together quite well. So we got lucky. And I think the reason we got lucky is because the thing is made of cheese. So I was able just to physically bend it back gently and slowly to it's a straight line again. But I think that's probably the reason it bent in the first place, because it is made of just rubbish. It's not very strong in all honesty, so one knock and it's going to be out of a line again. But it looks like it's good for now. And if we now look down in here, we should see, we can see the nozzle going. So my next task is going to be to give the mag a clean up, and then we'll give it a little bit of a test and see if we can actually get this thing to fire some BBs. So the reason we want to clean the magazine is just, I mean, look at the filth on the outside of it. It is, yes, it's old, it's not had much attention, But I would imagine if it is that filthy on the outside, it's got to be pretty much equally filthy on the inside, and we want that running as smoothly as possible so that we can feed the BBs up here, which fortunately that isn't bent, so that should feed quite nicely. We just need to make sure the motor's all looking good and the feed tube's all clean and all of the workings in there are functioning as smooth as possible so we can have this as efficient as we can. With the box mag all cleaned and serviced, so that's going to be running smoothly, we hope. Obviously everything's all back together now. Just to run through a few of the things we've done. So obviously we've swapped out the piston because it's all plastic teeth and we don't want that wearing and causing a future problem, so we've swapped that out for something more durable. We've done a fresh hot rubber and of course the dreaded tappet plate spring. That was the reason it found its way to me here in the first place. And not to forget the banana shape we've taken it out, so it's looking pretty straight now. I reckon we've got about 95% of its bend. It was kind of all about here and it kind of kinked downwards, which meant none of the gearbox was aligned basically. So all that's done. So the next thing we're going to do is test it. Now we'll actually test the rifle with all its shooting and bits on the range, because I think that's going to be the best way for something like this, because it's too big. But just to show us the box mag, if I activate the box mag at the base here, ready, we should see they're feeding up fine, so that's good news. They're all in there. Let's get a quick chrono test done and then we'll head down to Worthing, put it on the range and we'll spray plastic everywhere. Okay, so on the chrono then we've got 0.2 gram BBs. Here we go. So that went through at 324 feet per second on the last shot, so nice power there, a little bit under 1 joule, which is absolutely fine for what we need for this. So let's go and see what it does on the range. And then just like that we are at the range. So that will give us the ability to test this in a safe environment, so we can throw some plastic down range, make sure what I've done is working, and we've got lots of nice little targets out there that we can try and land some plastic on. So let's give it a go. So there we go, I think that is safe to say that this is working. So all the bits I've done to it, and clearly the bits that someone else has done before me, we can see someone else has played with that because it's definitely not the original box mag. I'm pretty confident that would have been on a 249 previous to this. And it's not banana shaped anymore, and we've upgraded a couple of bits in the gearbox just to ensure it runs smoothly. So I think mission complete on that one. That's working fine. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. Thank you to Worthing Airsoft for the range. Don't forget, hit the like button, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next one.